Welcome back to the deep dive. We are taking the sources you've shared with us and turning all that complexity into instant, actionable expertise.
And today we're wading deep into the very specialized world of professional disaster recovery.
Specifically focusing on the systematic, almost forensic challenge of mold remediation. And we're setting our scene in a really specific place, deep East Texas.
That's right, around Lufkin and Nacogdoches County. And when you look at the sources, you start to understand the context there. It's a high-risk region. Home and business owners, they've historically faced just about everything.
It's not just occasional bad weather, is it? The sources list, floods, forest fires, tornadoes.
Even hurricanes. It makes disaster recovery a critical 24/7 service. It's not an optional extra out there.
Right. So our mission for you today is to really unpack that process. We want to go beyond the idea of just cleanup and get into the detailed steps a professional team takes, especially with something as insidious as mold.
And the team we're focusing on, SERVPRO of Lufkin, Nacogdoches County, they've been serving that area since 2006. Their whole mission, and it's quoted right in the material, is to make it like it never even happened.
Which is a very high bar. So let's figure out how they even begin to achieve that.
Yeah.
And I think it starts with understanding the timeline.
Absolutely. The unseen elements are what matter most.
Okay, so let's unpack this.
Yeah.
The urgency. It's really staggering when you read about it. And I think this is the first crucial point for you, the listener. Why is the rush so severe with mold?
It's all about speed and biology. The source material is very clear on this. Mold can start to spread in as little as 48 to 72 hours.
Wow, just 2 or 3 days.
Or less. That window is incredibly unforgiving. As soon as you have water damage, that clock is ticking loudly.
And the spores themselves, they're kind of everywhere already, right? It's not like they have to travel far. The sources say they can come in on clothing, pets, or just through an open window.
Exactly. They're just dormant, waiting for that one ingredient, moisture. Once they have it, they can proliferate very, very quickly.
So this raises a big question for anyone listening, whether you're a homeowner or a business owner. Why bring in a professional team? Why not just grab some bleach and try a DIY cleanup?
Well, it really comes down to health and, frankly, liability. Professional remediation is so crucial because mold can produce allergens and irritants. These can cause adverse health effects. But it's more than that.
That's about the source.
It's about the source. You need a guarantee that the source of the water is gone and that every single spore, visible or airborne, has been dealt with. A DIY job just can't promise that.
Which must put immense pressure on their response time. If you call on day 1, but they don't show up till day 4.
The problem has already multiplied. That's why that 24/7 availability we see in the sources is completely non-negotiable in this industry. A professional team has to mobilize immediately.
And for a business, that urgency is, I imagine, on a whole other level.
Oh, absolutely. Every single hour a business is closed, that's lost revenue, lost production. It's not just about cleaning a spot on the wall. It's about protecting customers, employees, and keeping the entire operation from grinding to a halt.
The stakes are just so high.
Yeah.
So the sources show that this threat, this speed, it demands a really standardized, systematic approach. It's not just scrubbing.
No, not at all. There's a detailed 7-step protocol here. And if we look at the big picture, the whole point of these 7 steps is to minimize risk and maximize certainty.
Right. It's a flow.
It's a flow designed to locate the source, contain the spread, and then ensure a thorough removal of everything. The visible mold and, just as importantly, the airborne spores.
Okay, let's walk through it.
Right.
It all starts, of course, with step 1, emergency contact. And the material clarifies this isn't just a scheduling call.
Not at all. It's a rapid triage. The specialists are gathering critical info right away to figure out exactly what kind of equipment, resources, and people they need to send out.
So they show up fully prepared?
Prepared for that specific situation, which leads right into step 2. Inspection and mold damage assessment. This is the detective work.
They're looking for the visible stuff, obviously.
Yeah.
But the real professional difference is in the technology, right? Finding what you can't see.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're using moisture meters, thermal imaging cameras, things that can detect hidden water sources, a leak inside a wall or under a floor.
And finding that leak is everything.
It's the absolute key. If you just clean the mold but you leave the hidden leak, you've done nothing. The mold is guaranteed to come right back.
Okay, so once you found it, you have to contain it. That brings us to step 3, mold containment.
This is a really technical step. They often seal off the whole area with plastic sheeting, create negative air pressure.
What does that do, the negative pressure?
It means air is being pulled out of the contaminated area, not leaking into the clean parts of the house. And a subtle but critical detail from the sources, they shut down all fans and the entire HVAC system.
Ah, so the ducks don't spread the spores everywhere.
Precisely. You don't want your heating system becoming a spore superhighway.
So the area is sealed, the air is controlled. Now they have to clean that air. Step 4, air filtration.
And this is where the specialized equipment really comes into play. They use these powerful machines, air scrubbers, with HEPA filters.
HEPA, that's high-efficiency particulate air,
Yes,
right?
that's the one. It's designed to capture microscopic particles, including those tiny mold spores, right out of the air while they work.
So now we get to the actual removal. Step 5, removing mold and infested materials. This is where things can get destructive.
It can be. They use antifungal and antimicrobial treatments. But for heavy growth on porous materials, you have to make a tough call.
So things like metal or tile, those can be cleaned.
Usually, yes. But things like drywall, carpeting, insulation. If the mold is embedded deep inside, it's impossible to clean effectively. It has to be cut out and disposed of.
That must be the hardest part for a homeowner to see.
It often is, but it's necessary. And once that's out, they move to step 6, cleaning. This is cleaning what's left, the wood framing, the concrete fixtures, and crucially, the HVAC system itself.
I never would have thought about cleaning the ducts so thoroughly.
It's vital. Restoring the indoor air quality, the IAQ, is a non-negotiable goal here. The sources even mention they have special techniques for things like curtains, documents, and decor.
And then the final step, putting it all back together. Step 7, restoration.
This is how they actually make it like it never even happened. It can be anything from minor repairs, replacing some drywall and painting, to major reconstruction of entire rooms.
It's just such a comprehensive process.
Yeah.
And if we zoom out from mold, what's fascinating is how this is just one piece of what this company does.
It really is. The mold protocol is just one specialty. They're a full-service restoration expert covering the big 4: water, fire, mold, and storm.
But the list in the sources goes so far beyond that. The specialty cleaning services alone are amazing.
They are. We mentioned the HVAC cleaning, but think about document restoration. For a business with critical files or a family with irreplaceable photos, that service is priceless.
And then there's the really high-stakes emergency side. Things like biohazard and crime scene cleanup or sewage cleanup.
And even modern needs like virus and pathogen cleaning, plus the immediate stuff after a storm like roof tarping and boarding up windows, they really seem to cover every possible crisis.
And it's not just the structure, is it? They manage the things inside the structure.
That's their content management capability. They do contents cleaning, restoration, storage, even the logistics of packing and moving everything out and then back in again. It's a huge weight off the property owner's shoulders.
To handle all of that, you need serious training. The sources mention the staff hold IICRC industry certifications.
And that IICRC certification is a key detail. It stands for the Institute of Inspection, Cleaning, and Restoration Certification.
So it's like the gold standard.
It is the gold standard. It means the team is trained in the latest industry standards for safety, for drying techniques, for risk assessment. It's a signal of real technical expertise.
Now let's shift gears a bit. The process is clearly excellent, but it all comes down to the people doing the work. Let's talk about the local foundation of this franchise.
It's a great story. The owners, Brad and Jana Hammock, are native Texans who brought the franchise to the area back in 2006.
And they started small, right? There's a wonderful little anecdote in here.
They started with just one truck, which they nicknamed Old Betsy.
I love that. Old Betsy.
Just one truck and a desire to serve their community. And you think about that one truck facing the kinds of disasters that hit Deep East Texas. It's incredible. Now they have a large staff and a whole fleet of vehicles.
It shows how that local commitment really met a huge regional need.
And while it's a local business, it's also backed by a nationwide network. Over 2,000 franchises, a company that's been around since 1967. That gives them immense resources and support, especially when a really big disaster hits.
And that combination of local heart and national resources, it really shows up in the customer feedback. I mean, these aren't just generic 5-star reviews.
No, they're specific. There's one about a guy named Patrick and his team who handled a mildew outbreak at a remote cabin. The customer praised them for not just being fast, but for giving great advice on how to prevent it from happening again.
So they're focused on the future, not just the immediate fix.
Exactly. And another one, after a water heater leak, The customer called the team members, Angela, Riley, and Diego, a blessing for how they handled a huge mess in an attic.
That human element is just so important in a crisis. When you're overwhelmed, having people who are not just technically skilled but also empathetic, that's everything.
It truly is. That's what defines real professional service.
So to summarize the key nugget of knowledge we've pulled out today, professional disaster recovery, it isn't just about hard work. It's a highly structured, systematic process.
It relies on specialized equipment, air scrubbers, HEPA vacuums, thermal imaging, and it all hinges on that rigorous training, like the IICRC certifications.
And that whole system is designed to tackle the hidden threats,
Right.
the microscopic spores, the hidden leaks in the walls.
So what does this all mean for you? Well, when you look at that whole vast scope of services, you realize that true disaster cleanup involves things we just don't think about in the first moments of panic.
Like restoring documents.
Like restoring documents or doing a deep forensic cleaning of the HVAC system. It's a reminder that comprehensive recovery isn't just about rebuilding the walls and laying new carpet.
It's about restoring the things that make a house a home or a business functional.
Exactly. It's that painstaking, necessary effort to save sensitive possessions, to manage all the complicated logistics, and ultimately to make the very air you breathe safe again. The real goal isn't just to repair the damage you see, but to return the entire environment into a state that's truly livable and whole.